If we reflect back a couple of years ago, we always had a pretty good idea that most career Republicans, thinking self over constituency, really hated the idea of being anywhere around Trump at all, and on camera especially, being the pathetic cowards they are. Well, except when it was election season, of course, right? Insecure Democrats just love this kind of stuff, considering how terrified they are of Trump and all the truth he loves to communicate to the American taxpayer. How else do you explain their slobbering bromance with Liz Cheney, the daughter of one of the most hated Republicans of all time, Dick? You know, the mastermind behind the Patriot Act and the Iraq War. That very war Democrats opposed at the time. But let's not get it twisted, as the kids say. They didn't oppose it for all the right reasons, no. Obviously, the new tyrannical, big pharma, big tech, pro-corporation Democrat brand we see and hear every day on television calling everyone racist and homophobic simply opposed that war because the old Hitler, George Bush, was in power. Anyways, as the midterms near, those pesky Democrats with nothing of value to show for are going to start attacking anything Trump even more. Like as I speak, Marjorie Taylor Greene is in court fighting an idiotic case, claiming she's an insurrectionist, so she shouldn't be allowed to run for office again. These attacks will have two objectives. One, align the candidate with the evil orange man, while at the same time increasing the potency of the long-standing narrative that Trump should never be able to run for office again, and anyone who thinks otherwise is a threat to democracy. The most recent examples of this neurotic schoolyard childish behavior would be, you're standing with Ukraine, or you're a Putin puppet. And get a vaccine, wear 5 face diapers or you're anti-science and don't deserve to live in civilized society. It's all pretty obvious, isn't it? Now, speaking of examples, this next story is both a wonderful example of a prominent Republican playing both sides of the coin, if you will, and B, another leftist media outlet stumbling all over themselves, drooling at the idea of Trump's allies being exposed as phonies. An exclusive by the New York Times political correspondent Alexander Burns and Jonathan Martin reveal never-before-heard audio of a conversation between House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy of California, Wyoming's Representative Liz Cheney, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, and other Republican leaders in the aftermath of the January 6th Capitol unrest. Now, while McCarthy initially condemned the taxpayers wandering through the Capitol, he has remained in public a staunch loyalist of President Donald Trump, both in front of news cameras and in the published press. However, as one might figure, these conversations paint quite a different picture, a picture of a leader frustrated with how to best handle the aftermath of January 6th and how to, what sounds like anyways, hold Trump accountable for the massive crowd of frustrated voters visiting the Capitol that they and their tax-paying forefathers, well, paid for. I'll play the audio in a minute, but this first from the New York Times. In the days after the January 6th attack on the Capitol building, the two top Republicans in Congress, Representative Kevin McCarthy and Senator Mitch McConnell, told associates they believed President Trump was responsible for inciting the deadly riot and vowed to drive him from politics. Mr. McCarthy went so far as to say he would push Mr. Trump to resign immediately. Quote, "I've had it with this guy," unquote. He told a group of Republican leaders according to an audio recording of the conversation obtained by the New York Times. In one January 10th, 2021 phone conversation with Cheney, McCarthy discussed the Democrats' push for a second impeachment and potential odds on whether the president would resign. Now, Cheney asked if McCarthy believed the president would take an offer to resign in order to avoid impeachment. McCarthy expressed doubt at the proposition, but said that he would call President Trump and say, quote, "It would be my recommendation, you should resign." Now, in the case of full disclosure, I want you folks to know this recording came directly from the New York Times, a staunch ally of the Democrat Party, just in case later on we find out this is all bullshit.
Liz, you on the phone?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks, Kevin. I guess there's a question. When we were talking about the 25th Amendment resolution,
Yeah.
and you asked if what happens if it gets there after he's gone? Is there any chance, are you hearing that he might resign? Is there any reason to think that might happen?
I've had some few discussions. My gut tells me no. I'm seriously thinking of having that conversation with him tonight. I haven't talked to him in a couple days. From what I know of him, I mean, you guys all know him too. Do you think he'd ever back away? But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to call him. This is what I think. No, it'll pass the House. I think there's a chance it'll pass the Senate even when he's gone. And I think there's a lot of different ramifications for that. Now, I haven't had a discussion with the Dems that if he did resign, would it not happen? Now, this is one personal fear I have. I do not want to get into any conversations about Penn's party, anything like that. I mean, the only discussion I would have with him is that I think this will pass, and it would be my recommendation we should resign. I mean, that would be my take, but I don't think he would take it. But I don't know.
Okay, so this new audio, to put it lightly, contradicts McCarthy's public face on January 6th, where he strongly recommended an investigation into the Capitol attacks, then did an about-face after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi rejected the addition of Ohio Representative Jim Jordan and Indiana Representative Jim Banks to the J6 Commission. McCarthy has been openly critical of the commission ever since, even refusing to testify before the panel. Here's some more of his own audio to clarify.
I say he has responsibility. He told me personally that he does have some responsibility. I think a lot of people do. What I proposed, which I think history will say I'm right, because it's the right thing to do, I believe, you have a bipartisan commission and get all your facts. Actually work through the grand jury to find out at the end, instead of predetermining whether someone's guilty or not.
Many Republicans and Trump supporters, with good reason, have had their doubts about Leader McCarthy's allegiance to Trump and his America First agenda. While the tortured relationship between Mitch McConnell and Trump is played out loud and clear, McCarthy has walked a fine line in between staying in the good graces of the president and working with McConnell towards unifying the Republican message and its goal for the Congress. McCarthy has his sights set on being Speaker of the House after Republicans take the House back in the 2022 midterms, but in light of this new audio, showing McCarthy's true feelings at the time when, frankly, the president needed him most, and McCarthy's dissembling stance on the issues surrounding January 6th, this could well be a, pretty big roadblock in his path. Well, something tells me we'll see plenty more reports just like this one as the midterms approach. Some of this came by way of redstate.com. If you liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment down below. There's a PayPal link in the description box, so please put $1 in the bucket on the way out the door. I'd like to thank everyone for all your donations. They're much needed, much appreciated. Now, with all that being said, we'll see you next time.
Come on, move. Move. Easy, easy.